thing. To all of our elected officials who are present here tonight, and other persons who support this noble event. It's good to be here on tonight. Judge, great your presence tonight means so very, very much. I certainly did enjoy the advances from Lincoln University. They were outstanding. Can we give them a hand? Let me recognize Pastor Tom Pearson, who wears two hats. If he swings and misses one venue, he can turn around and switch hit and pick it up on the other. I certainly appreciate all that you do. Herman Hess, a little bit journey to the east, tells the story of a band of men who met on the journey. They set out to join this special army. And the central figure in the journey is Leo the servant. He does all the chores of the group. And Leo comes up missing, and is missed by the group because Leo has something that's tremendously important. Leo is a leader, but he's something more than that. Leo is a servant. And so on tonight, I don't want to talk about Leo, but I do want to talk about not just how being leaders, but how being servant leaders. Jesus said that I came not to be served, but to serve, and to give my life as a ransom for many. After he makes this statement, he goes on to demonstrate what that service looks like. And he does so in an almost embarrassing fashion as he washes the feet of his disciples. There is this text, many of you may be familiar with it. Mark 10, 35, verse 45, James and John asked Jesus for seats at his left and right in his glory. And no doubt these are valuable seats of prestige and power. The other 10 disciples were upset at James and John, not because they lacked humility, but because of the seats that they had asked for. See, the other 10 shared the same aspirations as James and John. I don't know if you know this, but seats have always been part of how things are arranged in culture and institutions. Seats are part of family dynamics, classroom order charts. And seats serve as a powerful unspoken. I heard the senator talking about her grandmother, and my grandmother was extremely instrumental in my life as well. In fact, so instrumental until when she walked in the room and somebody was sitting in her seat, they knew to move, because that was her seat. Rosa Parks was one of those who challenged the seating arrangement on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama in 1955 by refusing to give up her seat to make room for a white passenger. This act of civil disobedience was not for personal gain, but a protest for human dignity. James and John sought to identify the power of prestige. Rosa Parks looked for human dignity. Martin Luther King Jr., whose life and legacy we celebrate, he preached a sermon from this very text that I lived with, and he called it drum major instinct. And he said it's a desire in all of us to be recognized. He said that the drum major instinct is a desire to be first, a desire for recognition, to be out in front. This is what he says, a desire to lead the parade. We all want to be important. Sometimes our quest to be important, we forget really who we are. We want to surpass the other. We want to achieve distinction. The problem with the drum major instinct is that people who have a need to be first in their life trying to outdo everybody else. I got to have this because somebody else can't. I got to go there because somebody else went there. I have to have that car because that person has that car. There was a song several years ago that was entitled Keeping Up with the Joneses. There comes a time, though, when the drum major instinct itself can be destructive. It's not that we don't want to be great, but I live before us tonight that the problem is our understanding that greatness is too small. That we accept this small worldly model of greatness and we overlook Jesus' servant model. We overlook the model of Martin Luther King Jr. And so most of what is happening in and around us today is because there is a shortage of servant leaders. We have leaders, but they're not servants. In fact, they think that when they have arrived wherever they've arrived to, that it is ours to serve them, rather than for them to serve this present age. Then I thought that things were going to drastically change 4 years ago when we elected Barack Obama as our first president of color. I wanted so bad to go to the inauguration that I couldn't make it. But I didn't let it stop me. I created my own inauguration right there in my home. I got dressed as if I was going somewhere. I put on my white shirt and tie, put on my suit. I made myself some snacks and I waited for the swearing-in process. And I sat there. I remember it as if it was yesterday. And here we are again at a second inaugural for President Barack Obama. But this first time, let me just digress. I doubt very seriously if I'll get dressed for the event this time. I'll go casual. But the first time, there I was. I was dressed for the occasion. But I was getting dressed historically for every person who longed to see that moment and did not and could not. And I remember trying to hold back the tears. I know something about the emotions that you experience when going into the area where the symbolisms about the king remains. I got emotional too, but on this day, I couldn't control it. There was something in me. I was proud. I was all of that. It was as if I was going to be sworn in to be the president of the United States. Dressed in my Sunday best. And they swore him in, and I was so proud. I cried. My wife came in and caught me. She said, "What are you crying about? What are you crying about?" And I was trying to explain to her that this thing is so impactful. Because honestly, I never thought I'd live to see not an African American in the White House. Didn't think I would live to see. But all of that is the labor of Dr. Martin Luther King and so many others who have paved the way. Just in case we forget, none of us have really gotten anywhere on our own. All of us are really standing on the shoulders of somebody else. As we are sitting in this place, in this rotunda in Jefferson City, let it be far removed from you if you're sitting here thinking that you've arrived and you've done this by yourself because you've been sworn in. No, let me tell you something. You are standing on the shoulders of somebody. That's right. Sacrifice for you in a way that you don't even know. And they have really forgotten more than we will ever learn. There I was. And I thought that after we got this black president, that it was going to be smooth sailing. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? There was a number of reasons that the president has been made to look ineffective. And his approval rating right now is better than it's been. But then there is Congress, whose approval rating is right at around 3% right now, if not lower. Be that as it may, something hit me. What struck me is that real leadership, real movement in communities doesn't happen from the top down. It starts from the bottom up. That the leadership that we were looking for in Washington is the wrong place to look for. That's right. The leadership that we long and we need is right here in this room. Yeah. It's grassroots leadership. There is this movie, maybe some of you have seen it, the Book of Eli. Yeah. And Eli is played by Denzel Washington. There's a scene where he desecrates this community. And Savon, this is the girl who's in the movie with him, who after he shoots up the town and he's going wherever he's going, I didn't know he was blind until somebody had to tell him. And he's going where he's going, and then she says to Eli, "Can I go with you?" And he says no. And she says, "But I don't like you here." And then he says, "Then change it." Everything that we don't like about where we are, change it. That's right. For those persons who have been sworn in today, those persons here who are wanting to allow the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to move on, that whatever we don't like about what's happening in our community, then change it. The change that we are looking for, you're looking at. You need not looking at it in the flesh. And so I'm happy to have this opportunity to say these words to you. Earlier during the night, somebody mentioned that racism still exists. Schools are still in bad shape in the urban setting. But the only way that that's going to get any better is that we've got to change. Yeah. And sometimes the lifting is so very difficult. But we've got to fight the good fight. In fact, even in this room, those who have been voted in, even if you know you're going to lose the fight, still show up for it. And when you vote your convictions. And after you've done all that you can do, that's all that you can do. I heard when I was coming along, don't know who wrote this hymn, but it went something like this: if I can help somebody. Yeah. As I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with the word of something, if I can show somebody that they're traveling on, then my living won't be in vain. Somebody, not everybody. Nobody in here can help everybody, but everybody in here can help somebody. How do we allow the legacy of Dr. King to live on? Well, find you somebody and help them. That's right. And allow a legacy for yourself to be built in that person as you begin to pass the baton on to him. I was in D.C. weeks ago, and I went by and saw the monument that was dedicated to Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. served. That's what it was, he was a servant. We celebrate because he served. And his service has outlasted his life. There's a statue there, but the statue talks about the man. But the message of the man and how he served lives on even tonight. Yep. Listen, how's your service? May God bless you.